Hello, everyone, and welcome to Titleholder Talks with Emily. I am so beyond excited to put this plan into place and finally start this podcast, which will be all about sharing the experiences and stories of title holders within the Miss America opportunity. Today's guest, the very first guest of Titleholder Talks with Emily, is none other than one of my Miss America's teen sisters and also one of my best friends, and I cannot wait to help share her stories and experiences within the MAO. Hi everyone, I am here with my sister queen, Mia, who's also one of my best friends. So Mia, why don't you give us a little introduction?
Absolutely. Like Emily said, my name is Mia Daley, and I'm the current Miss Rhode Island's Teen 2023. Me and Emily, I got so close to Miss America's Teen. She's one of my best friends. I just love her so much. I'm so excited to be here today on the podcast.
Oh, so sweet. So Mia, you are my very first podcast episode. So how do you feel about that?
I'm so excited. I remember, Emily, you put something on your Instagram story, and you said, I need people on my podcast, and I have never responded to something so quick. I said, I will be there. I will do everything for it. So I'm so excited, and I know they're absolutely going to rock this. You are so the kind of person to have podcasts. You're so social, and you're just the bomb. So I'm so excited.
Thank you so much. So to jump right into this, I wanted to have a couple questions that I wrote down for you. So tell us, how did you get your start in pageantry and in the Miss America opportunity?
Absolutely. So I was 13 years old when I started actually competing, but I was 12 years old and I was approached by Jenna McLaughlin. She was Miss Massachusetts Teen 2022. We were very young. We were at a singing competition, and her mom and my mom got very close. We all got very close, and she told me, I really think that you're made for the Miss America opportunity. And I thought, I don't know. I don't know if pageants are my thing. So then a year later, I started pageants when I was 13 years old, and I was competing for the job of Miss Rhode Island's Outstanding Teen 2020, back when we were still outstanding. And I was hooked right from there. So my first 2 years competing, I was first runner-up. So in 2021, because 2020 was postponed, and then 2022, I was also first runner-up. And then 2023, third time was the charm. But I truly got the pageant bug. I absolutely love it so much. And the real reason I really wanted to get involved is because I'm a theater girl through and through. And I loved the idea of performing on a national stage. And thanks to the Miss America opportunity, I did have that chance to do that this January.
I'm sure every pageant girl in MAO, USI volunteer, any sort of system can relate to getting the pageant bug. I know I got it. I thought I was only going to compete once, and then I came back and competed again. So, but we love a good pageant journey. First runner up, and then you won. We absolutely love that. The
Of
Miss America
course.
opportunity is perfect for elongating your pageant journey. So, since this podcast is talking about all of the experiences that you have had as a title holder, why don't you share with us and talk to us a little bit about your CSI?
Absolutely. So my CSI is called the Anxiety Antidote, the Power of Social and Emotional Learning. My CSI is something that's very near and dear and close to my heart because I am someone who has struggled with anxiety for about 3.5 years now. And probably before that too, I just never really noticed it. So I started working with an organization called the Choose Love Movement, and they showed me what social emotional learning is all about. And from there, I really knew that I wanted to have this job to promote social emotional learning. And it's essentially the practice of mindfulness and meditations within schools, homes, and communities. So within the past 3 years, I have raised $15,000 for social and emotional learning. Thank you. Throughout many different fundraisers, and it truly has been the most rewarding part of my year. I did a fundraiser called Books to Boost Social and Emotional Learning, and within 3 days, I raised $5,000 to purchase all these social emotional learning books that were then donated to many schools, homes, and communities across Rhode Island. So promoting my CSI has quite honestly been the best part of my year as well, because it's just something I'm so passionate about, and really combining my passions of social emotional learning and the Miss America opportunity. It's the best of both worlds.
Yes, absolutely love that. I know as somebody who struggles with anxiety and who has since the age of 9, I have really kind of deep dived into a lot of things concerning your CSI, and hearing you talk about that on the Miss America stage was kind of eye-opening. So, how did you start your CSI and kind of when did you start your CSI?
So my journey with my CSI actually started long before my time with the Miss America opportunity. So I was around 12 years old when I really found a passion for mental health issues, anxiety, social emotional learning. And I started working with a lot of different organizations. I started 5Ks in my community. I partnered with my old middle school and my current high school with dress down days. So it really did start long before my journey with the Miss America opportunity. But like I said, being a part of this organization, having this title just kind of elevated everything to another level.
Absolutely. And I know not only I can agree with my CSI, but I know all the other title holders in the Miss America opportunity can definitely agree. It is a great stepping stone to further your information gathering and also education. So, as we're talking about stories, we recently competed at Miss America's Teen. Actually, it was 3 months ago, which is crazy. So,
Stop.
talk to us about Miss America's Teen and how that experience was for you and kind of your favorite things during the week.
It was easily the best week of my entire life. I remember I was just texting some of my friends from here in Rhode Island saying, I wish I could go back to Miss America week. It was the best week of my whole life. To start, obviously, I got close with you, Em. You're the bomb. And of course, our Idaho girl, Ellie. We love her so much. Group chat, got to get our reunion back together. But easily it was the best week of my life. Like every single day felt like we were just living it up and all performing on stage. But I'm trying to think of some highlights from the week. Oh, Dave and Buster's. Dave and Buster's was the funniest night of my whole life. For many different reasons. It was the funniest night ever. Ellie and I and you just had the best time ever playing the games, everything. There's really no words to describe that week because it literally felt like I left reality for a week and just like went to heaven, and it was the most amazing experience of my whole life. But just getting close to so many amazing girls, and also making so many connections. Shout out to my girl Keegan Connor out there. She's going through the BFA process right now. She's going to Bama. Go Keeg. So just seeing like those connections being made too, and having those connections with musical theater, everything like that. But really finding such amazing sisters, as cheesy as it sounds, kind of going into the week, I was like, oh, I'll meet some friends, but it is so incredibly true that the bonds you make at Miss America's Teen will literally last forever. Those girls I'm so close with, I haven't seen them in 3 months because obviously we all live on different parts of the country, but it's like, I know that when we have a reunion, which better be coming soon, we'll like pick up right where we left off. And it's also kind of crazy to see how a lot of our class is already giving up their titles. I know Ginger just gave up her title this past weekend, and it's crazy that in less than a month I'll be in that position. And just thinking how literally 3 months ago I was at Miss America's Teen, but it's also really rewarding to see that another class of girls is going to have the opportunity too.
For sure, for sure. And I agree with you. I went into the week and I was like, oh, as the oldest, I was kind of nervous. I was like, am I going to make friends? Like, who am I going to bond with? And I was so incredibly excited to not only make bonds with you and Ellie, who are pretty close now with our group chat and best friends, but also with every single girl that was there. And even
Absolutely.
going to North Carolina next month for Hanley's homecoming, I get to meet the new North Carolina teen,
That's
Annika.
so
So
cool.
I'm excited to kind of like welcome all those girls into this sisterhood. And so, kind of branching off of that sisterhood aspect, what is your favorite point of the Miss America crown and why?
It's tough. I think there's just so many amazing ones. But for me, I think service. It's the one that I resonate the most with, just because I am so strong on serving my community. I have over 450 community service hours that I've built up over the years. Serving my community is one of also the main reasons I got involved with this organization, because I really like the idea of serving your community, performing on stage. It's not just a shiny hat that we get to wear. There's a lot more to it. But of course, sisterhood is always a near and dear place in my heart. And just like I said earlier, kind of going into it, I was like, oh, I'll make some friends. But it is so incredibly true that the friends you make there are genuinely going to last a lifetime because you have so much in common. But quite honestly, all 4 points, well, five was sisterhood in your heart. All 4 points of the crown are truly so amazing. And I remember that this was a question I actually got asked in my Miss Rhode Island interview when I won the job. And I'm pretty sure I said service again, but it literally is such a hard question because they're all so incredibly important in its different ways.
I know a whole bunch of girls are asked about this question, not only in competition interviews, but in podcast interviews or
Yeah,
talking to their friends. And I love seeing all the different answers because everybody resonates with each point so seriously, but
absolutely.
also, people have their favorites, and it's awesome to just see each girl kind of really showcase their favorite point. So now that
Yes.
we're on the topic of favorites, what is your favorite phase of competition and why? And tell us a little bit of a story, because I feel like I know what you're gonna say. So tell us a little bit of a story of how you got involved in this particular phase of competition.
Absolutely. Of course, it's talent. Like I said earlier, I'm such a theater girl. I will forever be. I'm trying to get a BFA in musical theater. So theater is truly my rock. Talent's easily my favorite phase of competition. It was one of the main reasons I actually got involved with this organization, is because I just wanted to perform. I want to sing my butt off and just go on out on stage and just perform. So a fun little story for you. When I was competing at Miss America Teen for my talent, my voice teacher called me and she gave me this amazing pep talk, just of what I need to do, all this stuff. And I remember I was backstage and I just went on stage and I said, Mia, this is a dream that you have wanted for over 4 years. Like, you made it. And I remember I started getting so choked up backstage, just thinking, like, 13-year-old me, if I told her that I'd be singing Think of Me from Phantom of the Opera, a song that I thought I could never sing on a national stage with such prestigious judges, I would never have believed myself. So I think just having that moment, and I'm very thankful for Miss America for giving me that moment with my talent as well. It was life-changing, and it's something I'm going to remember in my career forever.
Absolutely. And personally, you killed it at talent. I remember sitting backstage and I was contestant number 4 and you were a little bit after me. So I was already in my get up for awards and they had a big screen backstage so we could watch everybody's talents. And I watched you and I remember honestly tearing up because I know how much this meant to you, not only being at Miss America's Teen, but being in this moment and getting to really perform on a national stage in front of thousands of people. And I was sitting there, I was so proud of you. And I know my family members watching who were there and online.
My faves.
Oh my gosh, she's absolutely incredible. So you killed it. And I love hearing all the stories that have to go along with talent and with theater, especially because there are definitely a lot of stories to go with that. And
oh gosh, yeah.
So awesome to see, especially as a former theater kid. I've had quite some stories as well, but you absolutely killed it, and we love Phantom of the Opera here. So
who doesn't?
Exactly. So as we're kind of talking about stories throughout this podcast with all of my future guests, what has been your favorite moment as Miss Rhode Island's Teen 2023 so far?
This is a tough one, but I quite honestly think it's not so much a specific moment, but just a person I spent this year with, Caroline Prenti, my Miss Rhode Island. I cannot say enough amazing things about her. She is exactly what I want to be when I grow up. Someone asked me, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" I want to be Caroline Prenti. She is the most kind, inspirational, beautiful on the inside and on the outside. Not to mention she was 4th runner-up at Miss America. A little shout out. But honestly, that probably is my favorite moment, when she was in the top 11 and the top 5. I was sitting next to Arizona's Teen and her having a ball at Miss America, and she was called for top 11, and I fell to the floor. I couldn't breathe. I was sobbing. I was losing my mind. People around me looking at me like, what is she doing? I did not care. I was literally sobbing. And that night when she got called for top 5, I lost my voice. I have never sobbed so much in my entire life. And if you look on my Instagram, there's a video of me hugging Caroline when she got back to the hotel. And I literally watched it this morning. I watched that religiously because it means so much to me just to have a role model like that in my life. Caroline and I are not just close because we have these titles. We're close because we truly do have a connection. Also, a little kind of fun fact, when I first started competing, Caroline was Miss Rhode Island at Staying Team 2019. So she was giving up her title when I first started competing. So I really have known her for 3 years now. And just to think that, God had this plan for us to bring us together when we had the titles together. It has been easily the most rewarding part of my year. She's just the best, and we got less than a month left together, so we're really trying to make the most of it.
I absolutely love that, especially because the Miss America opportunity, I feel like, creates a very special bond between the Miss and the Teen sisters. So hearing that is awesome. I remember Ellie and I were texting you during the Miss America final competition. We were like, oh my gosh, Mia. And you didn't text back, and we're like, okay, we assume that she's okay.
I was losing my mind.
I myself also, I've known Caroline for a couple of years now, and I've gotten some great advice for her. So I as well was losing my mind when she made
She's the bomb. 5. Love her.
Especially when she answered her onstage question and killed it. So absolutely. So, like you mentioned, you are giving up your title in less than a month now, which is very sad and very crazy. So my question to you is, will we be seeing you on the Miss Rhode Island stage?
I think we can definitely see that sometime near in the future. Like I said earlier, I have the pageant bug, and it's not coming out of me anytime soon. I am also just so thankful to this organization for giving me all these opportunities as a teen, but I've also seen the opportunities that Carolina's had as a Miss. And I think I want to be like that. And not only that, I want to follow in Caroline's footsteps. She was a teen title holder and now it's Miss Rhode Island, fourth runner up is Miss America. I want to follow in her footsteps. I want to be on that Miss Rhode Island stage, but not only that Miss Rhode Island stage, that Miss America stage. I think I will take a couple years off. I think it's really important to, have some time outside of the organization, support other girls, cheer them on. I also want to take some time for myself to really mature as a Miss. I'm still a teen. I'm only 17. So I still got a little bit of time, but I think wherever I end up for college, I know that I will come back home and compete in Rhode Island because the job's not finished yet. Still got to go through Miss. And whatever's meant, this is another quote I really live by in my year of service. Whatever's meant to be will be mine. If I'm meant to be Miss Rhode Island, that's amazing. And if I'm not, that's amazing too. I'm going to cheer on all the amazing young women who will be competing just because this organization has given me so much. Whatever happens, it's meant to be.
Absolutely. And, I'm feeling the same way, talking about the pageant bug again. I am 19, so technically I'm eligible to start competing in Miss next year. So, but I think, as a freshman in college, I kind of want to, mature more as an adult and kind of get my education done. So, take a couple of years off, like you mentioned, but hey, you never know. Maybe all our viewers will see us not
as
only
Miss Connecticut and Miss Rhode Island and Miss America together.
The same Miss America class, just like we were in the same Miss America.
I would sob. I would literally sob.
I would love that. And hopefully, we get to have more of our Miss America's teen sisters there too.
Of course.
So, you're almost done. How has this year kind of culminated and how do you feel that now that you've won this title and that you are almost done, how does that feel?
I think it's very bittersweet. I think there's a lot of things I never ever want to let go of from this title, but I also think it's time. I'm a firm believer, like I said, whatever is meant to be will be mine. I was meant to have this job, but I'm also meant to give it up to another girl. And our Miss Rhode Island's teen class is so wonderful. If any of my girls are watching, I love them so much. They're amazing. And I'm just so excited to see who's going to hold the job next. I'm also really excited to help them prepare for Miss America's teen because that's so important, really instilling that sisterhood aspect. One title holder to another, we want to make that transition super clean and help them as much as possible. But I think, like I said, it's very bittersweet, but I'm also ready. I'm ready to see someone else have the most amazing year of their life.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I totally agree. A month after you, so I still have a little bit more time, but not too much time left, which is insane. Like you mentioned earlier, a whole bunch of our class of girls has already given up their titles. I believe it's around 5 or 6 now, which is insane. But I'm so excited to follow their journeys after the crown and also support all of the new girls that are coming in and competing at Miss America's teen. So what are your plans post Miss America and how are you going to use those nice scholarship dollars that you've earned?
Of course. So actually, about 2 months after I get up the crown, I will be in Theater by the Sea's production of Sound of Music. It is my first professional theater job. I'm so excited. I'll be working with such an amazing group of professional theater patrons and just so many amazing things. And I'm just so beyond excited. And then after that, the college search has already begun. I am definitely thinking about University of Alabama because what is better than that amazing scholarship? Also, so many girls from our class are going to Alabama. It's crazy. I think it's like we have 15 girls who are going to Alabama. Or maybe more than that. We have a lot. And I just think not only the Alabama scholarships, but the additional scholarships I have earned with this organization will definitely be put towards my college. And that's another great thing about this organization. Though I might be giving up my title, the scholarships are going to keep following me wherever I go. I'm going to still be able to, have a heavy heart and a whole heart that I'm using these scholarship dollars from such an amazing organization.
Absolutely. And so my final kind of question to wrap this all up for you is, what advice would you give to this next class of girls who are going to be competing in Miss Rhode Island's Teen 2024 in just a short month, and one of those women who will be going on to compete for Miss America's Teen 2025? What is your advice to them?
I actually said this to our class of 24 at our cabaret performance about 2 weeks ago. I looked at all them and I just said, you're here to have fun. You are quite honestly here to build friendships, compete on stage, and have fun. And I just think that's the most important thing. I remember we were all sitting in a circle, talking about our lives, all the fun stuff, having nothing to do with the crown. It's about building those relationships. And the same thing at Miss America's Teen. I went into Miss America's Teen week thinking, I'm going to have the best week of my life, meet so many amazing women, like yourself, of course, and just having fun. And I think that's such an important mindset to have because you're not there, especially Miss America's Teen. There's only going to be one winner. And same thing at a Rhode Island level. There's only going to be one winner. And you just want to go in thinking, hey, if I win this job, that's amazing. But if I don't, I left with so many amazing sisters. And for someone who has been told no for 2 years in a row, and it was hard, I'm not going to lie. I wanted this job so bad. But I remember it was after my second year competing. So the year I won, I went into that week thinking, same thing. If this is meant for me, this is going to happen. And if it's not, there's something down the horizon. And that is so incredibly true. And I am such a firm believer in that. So to any girls competing at state level, nationally, locally, what's meant for you is going to be yours, and it's not going to pass you by.
For sure, for sure. I absolutely love that advice. I know you were even giving that advice to some of the girls at Miss America's teen. So it's nice to
Absolutely.
hear you kind of continue that story for somebody else. And I love hearing that you're going to continue to support and give advice to the next girl and even
Absolutely.
all of the next girls competing and the girl that wins. But thanks so much for being my first episode of
Oh my
First
gosh.
Love.
You're kidding.
I'm
Of course. That was a blast.
so
And you slayed as always.
Oh, thank you. So happy to have you. You know, as a journalism major, I'm trying to get my start. So I think I did a pretty good job, but you
She slayed as
absolutely
always.
killed it. So thank you so much for coming on, and see you in a month.
See you in a month. Love you, girl.
Well, that was the very first episode of Titleholder Talks with Emily. I really hope you enjoyed getting to hear from Mia and listen to all of her experiences and her stories. This podcast will be going live on Spotify and YouTube at Titleholder Talks with Emily, and I also will be sharing clips from this episode as well as future episodes on Instagram at Miss America's Teen CT. Thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you next time.